Thank you very much for this, and very warm welcome to the panelists. And let me just quickly start with a short thank you for the opportunity to all of us, to share some thoughts. And on a slightly lighter note, not the best of slots for as we are at the last slot for the day, and I do have the clock to to look at, so that we end on time. Thank you very much for I think the panelists have for the introductions. I just being conservative of time, let me actually start the discussion. As I pass on the questions to my co-panelists, would request if the first time when you speak, do give a slight introduction about yourself, and so that for the larger audience, I think it'll be just great to know the background or the credibility each of you come with. So to start off, my name is Rachit Mathur. I lead BCG's consumer and retail practice in India. Done a fair amount of my work, in retail, and I've been a very active member with the RAI for quite a large part of my working life. The topic on hand is around loyalty. Clearly something which every retailer knows is really what drives the business, and most importantly, what drives financial gains as well as longer term gains for every retailer. BCG studies actually suggest that for every 10 points of increase in your loyal shopper base, loyalty being defined depending on the category context, drives anywhere exactly of half of that from a EBITDA perspective, for a retailer. That is very, very significant. And it's actually the model that many of the new generational e-commerce retailers like Amazon actually work on. But before we get down into the mechanics and the assessment of loyalty, and especially with a digital lens, let me actually throw open the first question to to my co-panelists. What really is loyalty, and why really is it important for a retailer, as well as how would you define loyalty in your business context? And let me actually fling this question first open to Mr. Shibu Phillips, and if you could share your thoughts on that one.
Thank you, RAI, and thank you, Rajat. My name is Shibu. I am head of business for the shopping mall division of the Lulu Group. Sorry, I'm on the move to the airport in Bangalore, so I don't know the connectivity will hinder the whole discussion. But coming to the question, what loyalty means to us is we have in a shopping mall pre-COVID, our customer base was close to 1.8 million customers a day in a month, and out of which our regular customers is equal to around 66% of all those customers are regular customers who visit us and the mall, and we know the fact that 79% of the customers will switch to a competitor brand within a week if there is a negative experience. Now, how do you address this? So if you have a connect with the consumers, then most of the negative experience can be they have a face and they can connect with you. So with that only we said that we need to have a platform to connect. So we started a loyalty program in the mall division. Then the second fact it comes is that 69% of the customers said receiving rewards made them more likely to shop in the mall. So we said that for every shopping they do in the mall, and whether it's within my 250 tenants who are there within the mall, we give them rewards for that, and and this facts started coming back to us. So in a month, we have close to 32 crore business which is done by the consumers who are part of our loyalty program, and within in a month we disperse close to 30 lakhs worth of rewards back to them. and that increases when. But what added to the whole kitty is that one we know the consumers very well. Secondly, it's a fact of solving the issues. Second, third, we are rewarding them, and we know that when we reward a consumer with a voucher, and that leads the consumer to the shop directly, and we have seen that they buy 5 times more than the voucher which is given to them. So that has been the what loyalty means as a shopping mall to us. That the purchase has improved, consumer spends have improved, connectivity has improved with the customer. And something which has improved is the experience, the whole experience of mall. Earlier what was happening is malls never had a consumer. It was the retailer who always had a consumer. Now malls also in the era of this whole pandemic has started, that when everyone is shopping online. Now the malls have to ensure that customers are made as happy to come out of the house and come to shopping mall. So for those reasons, malls also have to own consumers, and we need to provide that reason. So one touch points of a loyalty becomes a very important reason for that. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Mr. Phillips. I think it was an insightful view both with the retail as well as with a shopping center lens. But let me on the same question, direct to another retail participant, Jaideep. V-Mart, of course, comes with being one of the first retailers into larger India, right? I mean, you're not somebody who is concentrated only towards metro towns and so on. You've got probably one of the most spread retail businesses. What has been your understanding of loyalty, especially keeping larger India in mind and not just metro India in mind?
Thanks, Rachit, and thanks RAI for bringing me to this forum, and thanks Shibu for deep insights into your context and how loyalty is playing out in your context. For us, as Rachit rightly pointed out, our business belongs to Bharat, the larger landscape beyond malls and high streets of metros, and there our customer is very different. And for that customer, we have to, the way we have conducted our business has always been very need-based, and we have been always very empathetic to the lower middle class and the middle class customer. So we had to bring about those insights to drive our loyalty. And here we have consciously stayed away from loyalty points. We have tried loyalty points. Shibu has got gains from it. On the contrary, for us, we saw more gains from understanding the customers, how they are feeling at that time. They are coming for shopping primarily on festivals. Their shopping is more need-based. So we have promoted some sort of an instant reward or instant gratification kind of system, where what we are doing is we are promoting customer delight through coupons and vouchers and increasing their repeat purchases. Okay, we have a lot of ticket size offers. We have vouchers. We have multiple designs of it. We have layered designs of it, and at the same time, since we are catering to the larger base of customers, there is a lower middle class and there is a value-driven class, which is possibly on the top of the middle income group. We have also tried to cull out the right segment of customers, okay, which can repeat with us. Okay, so we have used advanced data analytics to cull out micro segment of customers and provided them instant gratification. Okay, and what we have been able to do, the success of this program lies in last 1 year when we started this journey. We have been able to go from response rates of our engagement campaigns from under 1% to as much as 11 to 12%. So going targeting segments which are giving you 11 to 12% of response rates is brilliant, and not just on coupon-based campaigns, but also on engagement campaigns. The customers are coming back. We have also tried to understand their natural purchase cycle and targeted customers where they are about to lapse. Here, our customer data platform and deep analytics have played a larger role. And I think that's how loyalty is playing out for us. But we believe that we have to expand into larger kitty of customer experiences. This is just, I do not want to see loyalty just as a retention play, but there are a lot of touch points wherein we need to drive these things.
Got it. No, thanks for that, Jaideep. I mean, and just to bring a third perspective on the same one, which is more with a brand and a product lens. Ajit, if I could request you to, because Shibu spoke about the shopping center and potentially the urban retail customer. We had Jaideep bring in some insights around how the Bharat customer actually interacts with the concept of loyalty. But as somebody who's more on the brand and on the product side, what have been your experiences where maybe the direct touch to consumer has not been that easy?
Yeah, thanks, the eminent panelist and Rai for giving me the opportunity to talk about. This is a very sensitive topic as such a customer experience and the loyalty. So the loyalty for the definition itself is fundamentally talks about the generations of the customers are attached to that particular brand or particular products. Okay. So, and in the VIP context, if I see, there's definitely I meet a lot of customers when we do a lot of surveys and get tackle to the customers, getting the end consumers data basically when we try to analyze. The brand is like that. Yes, generation to generation, people are using our luggages for the variety of the purposes. So yes, so that is a loyalty for me where the customer faith or faithfulness is attached to that particular brand, and thus yes, there's a need, there's a value for that particular customer. So I will categorically say from the 4 parameters like quality, cost, delivery, and the serviceability. If you categorize this, and if you're giving all these 4 parameters, which can become the later KPI for that particular customer also. If customer is getting all these 4 parameters and constant touch and engagement to them, so definitely the customer is going to be loyal with you, and then it values your brand, and definitely there will be the repeat purchases, whatever the new SKUs are coming up, and then they will wait for you at the end of the day. It's just like people are waiting for the Apple iPhone, basically iPhone 12 or iPhone 13. What is the new which is coming up? So that brand basically drives everything from our perspective as such, and that is and when the brand is driving you, so whatever you sell under the umbrella of that particular brand, whatever the SKU, people just wait for what is coming from them. Definitely need is there, but that's why the product as a product company or what getting a connect to the customers, when the brand is there, awareness becomes is basically reaching to the larger customer segment is not that difficult. So from my perspective, or from the VIP perspective, or from my past experience perspective also, because as my experience lies, apart from the working with the manufacturing or organization or the retail organization, I've been the consulting also for 12 years. And then I've seen across the world how the brand speaks, and then how customers are getting attached to the brand, and automatically the loyalty gets generated out of that. So that is how I correlate the brand loyalty and the connect with the customer. So people wait for your product and they're ready to buy if you taken the quality, cost, delivery, and the serviceability taken into the consideration. So that is my view on. So I will keep this brief as such, and then we can talk about the later questions as such.
Great, thank you for that, Ajit. And let me actually now just pivot more towards, we are in the ReTechCon, and now I do want to associate, technology and loyalty, and where does technology feature into the larger scheme of things. There's this perpetual debate which says that loyalty is and I'm just taking a little bit of cue from what Ajit said. As long as as long as you've delivered a great product quality, you've given it at a good price, and you have your service or your availability has been good, why do you need anything else to make a consumer loyal? So why is there so much of investments and talk about technology in loyalty? And to just welcome thoughts on that one, could I welcome Mr. Ramanan, if you could share your thoughts on where does technology fit into loyalty? Is it a good to have or is it a must to have, and why?
Thanks, Rachit. And like you started the session, it's difficult at the end of the day to hold the audience, but I think loyalty is one subject. And if you are able to hold the audience loyalty today, I think we've achieved the purpose. Thanks, RII, for organizing this session. I think that's a very important question, Rachit, that you asked, and I heard other speakers as well. I've heard Mr. Jaideep mention that they tried loyalty and they've discontinued loyalty programs. But at the same breath, I also heard him say that we run data analytics and are able to offer value for money, promotions, moment of truth, activity. So the reason behind all this is the availability of technology, right? I mean, you might call it in any space or form. I've heard Shibu also mention that if you give them vouchers, you get 5x returns of them coming into your shopping mall. So we've all realized over a period of time that we are addressing customers, and at the end of the day, the customer is looking for value. Okay, it could be in any form. We might have run loyalty as promotion. We might have run loyalties as coupons. We might have run loyalties by giving them vouchers or cards or categories saying that you are bronze, silver, gold. But at the end of the day, what we all expect is true, that the product has to be good, service has to be good, price has to be good. But if along with that, you know me as a customer, you know my needs, okay, you're able to offer me offer me services which meets my demands, that adds value. So for example, I go to a salon nearby, okay, and they send me a message over the weekend saying, come for hair straightening, we'll give you a discount. And I look at my hair and say, hair straightening for me, because then I realize that they don't know me as a customer, right? So it is important to know each one of us as a customer, okay? So their technology plays a role, because wherever you are in India or Bharat or wherever you are, people like to be treated as individuals, not as some unknown customers, and that's where loyalty plays, and that's where technology enables. Saying that at the point of sale, if they say, hi, good evening, Mr. Ramanan, I feel nice. And that is a prompt that comes by technology. They don't need to know me beyond that. Then the rest of the training and other aspects of it can take over, product quality, everything can take over. So in that sense, yes, technology is an enabler. It in my view, is a must-have. If it was a small setup like in the past, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Tamil Nadu called Trichy, where the retailer would know everybody, including me, my parents, my grandparents, my siblings, cousins by name. That's not possible anymore, right? I mean, we are all catering to large set of customers, minimum of 5,000 to 6,000 customers in one geography. So technology surely helps. That's my view, Rachit.
Thank you for that, Mr. Ramanan. I think very interestingly, very well said. And let me just, use some of the cues you mentioned and, bring in Chandan into the conversation. Chandan, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, Rachit, I can hear.
I think, Chandan, you guys are in the business of convenience and essentials, right? And you are positioned, I would argue, not like a value retailer. You are very much positioned, as a premium retailer. When you look at value proposition, right? And you clearly have 2 or 3 very interesting and very different vectors of how your it's convenience, it's smaller ticket size, it's more, impulse catering, and so on. Is loyalty important for you, and would you invest behind loyalty and technology?
First of all, thank you, Rachit, and thank you, RAI, for giving me this opportunity to interact with this esteemed panelist. Rachit, yes, of course, loyalty is something today. It's not an support services. It's a need for the business. Because see, everybody has said about that we have got a good product, we have got a good experience, we have got a good service, but then that person to visit again and again to that particular store or a organization and tell about the good words about your organization to the others and bring more people into the particular organization is what the aim of the loyalty right now. So loyalty has now not only an earning burning kind of a program. It is kind of a social interaction also. People are actually getting socially interacted due to this loyalty kind of thing, and it is very much needed for a business to grow right now. So this is what my viewpoint is.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point, Chandan, because at least my experience working in a fair amount of retail, very diverse circumstances. I think the people use the word loyalty, CRM, personalization, segment of one. Fundamentally, it is nothing but a great database of your consumers and their transactions. And then how I think the right insights are drawn to meet a certain set of business objectives is really where I would say any of these terminologies will fit in.
Yeah,
But
it's a loyalty is kind of now driving the sales to increase the sales also. It is not only the customer experience, it's actually driving the sales also and increasing your business also.
Yeah. So let me bring in Sarfraz into the conversation, Mr. Sarfraz Miller. So question, to you is, I think we've established the fact that loyalty as a larger business and consumer theme is key and critical. I think we've also established that the scalability of loyalty is only through technology as a route. How important have you experienced this know-how to be resident within you, or is it absolutely fine to outsource it? To have a more third-party led model to engage, than actually having a lot of this built in. Any top thoughts from you?
Sure. Thanks, Rachit, for the question, and thanks, Rai, for having me here. So I head the Celio department. I head the IT department for Celio, and the basically. Initially, you would have thought of having a loyalty system, only enclosed in your environment and not outsourcing it to anyone, because the data is the key for every brand and every retailer that you have. So on those, now when you see it, there are many players in the market who have an agile technology compared to a legacy system that you would have, and knowing the requirements of the customer, and the thought that's evolved in retail. It's important that you have an agile technology to support the business and service the customer in their journey. So I think I am very open to any kind of a suggestion, or having a loyalty base with a partner who can give us better benefits, and at the same time give us results. Yeah.
Got it. And have your experiences? In your experience, do you get a full range or a full spectrum of players? Both on large potentially a little, archaic big systems versus those, who have got quicker, smaller, shorter applications, much more agile, but with maybe, not so many, proven business cases. Any experience on, the landscape of different service providers? As maybe our audience, many of our audience members would love to know your experience.
So yes, definitely. Initially, we launched a loyalty program in-house completely, and after that, we identified there are certain certain situations that has to be tackled, which your legacy system may not be up to the mark for those situations, and that's where the AI ML situations come in, and it's always better to have be on track with the current trends and utilize those features to have the right experience. So definitely it works. It does work. But then at the same time, in the previous panel discussion also it came out. One of the panelists were speaking that rather than going big bang, you can always do a POC, get to a concrete answer to all your questions, and then decide which are your priorities to work with. Because you may have gamut of requirements coming from the business, but then you have to list down which are your priorities and then work towards it. And obviously, because it's technology, it's bound to evolve. So today you may not have it, but then somewhere down the line you definitely has to have it. So small big, it does impact, but then at the same time, if your requirements are very clear and you have the priority set, I think things would work out for you.
Got it. Can I bring in Siddhant on the same question? I think the question was more around saying, how do you assess whether an investment on the technology versus outsourcing it, and different stages of evolution. How does one approach the adoption of technology, especially for driving CRM and loyalty?
Hi, I'd like to introduce everyone to myself. I'm Siddhant from Style Baazar. I'm the marketing head of the company right now. And regarding loyalty, customer loyalty, what I feel it has changed post-pandemic. And what I feel like the customers look for more offers and they look for instant gratification rather than any loyalty program like a loyalty point system, which probably for a segment like us, for Style Baazar, it doesn't work because we used to have a loyalty based a point based program loyalty system before, and it actually didn't work because people in tier 2 tier 3 they don't really get that easily, and also that buying pattern, like our ticket size is around $1,000 to $1,100. So like the spending power is less, so the points that we can offer is not enough for them to redeem when they have to keep coming for a year or two to accumulate that number of points. So according to me, like I completely believe in technology, and I think adapting something new and going ahead with the technology really works for a brand, even for a brand like us. And what I feel like people generally, like after the pandemic, people look for instant gratification. So if our loyalty program is structured that way, it will really help us retain a customer more than usual.
Got it.
Rachit, if I can jump in,
yes.
Sorry. I heard Mr. Sarfaraz mention on legacy technology, so I just thought I will take a minute. Okay, so the world technology is evolving towards a composable open retail architecture. And what I mean by that is that you might have certain legacy systems and you might want to involve a new set of technologies which are microservices based, cloud native kind of thing. And you can actually marry both. Okay. And before our session, there was this technical presentation by Virender on 6DX, where he says that you don't have to replace your legacy technology. So you can interact with the legacy technology, retain the old legacy technology, and still offer a lot of solutions. And technology also enables what you want to do in which point of time. So I have also heard at least 2 or 3 panelists said that we used to have a point system It didn't work for us. We pivoted and moved towards instant gratification. Okay, having technology that can enable you to pivot is also equally important. I mean, it need not be that once you started one journey on one and you call them blue, silver, gold, you have to retain them for the rest of it. You can introduce newer promotions. It could be bill value based, product based, season based. Diwali is coming. Do I offer a set of promotions that are valid only for those? Those kind of things, if technology can enable you to power them, I think that's the right way to go. And you should look for and evaluate technologies can help you do that. And yes, proof of concept adds value so that you can know for yourself. I've heard retailers tell us that does loyalty pay for itself, right? I will spend money, but if it pays for itself. And we've been able to work with retailers to prove that loyalty pays for itself and much more. So that actually is another way to evaluate what technology that you would want to invest in.
No, I think that's a very good point, Ramanan. I think let me and I do want to, this is, I think, the crux of the matter, right? Because does loyalty have a business case? We've spoken about the fact that is it relevant for consumers? Sure. Is there a does the relevance, one get very sophisticated about the relevance? Absolutely, it's very much technology enabled. But finally, is it viable? Is the business case surviving, or are there alternate ways to make that business case play out? So, Jaideep, I know I would love to hear your thoughts on that. That how would you justify a business case to your CEO or to your board to say this makes sense, and how do you talk about, pardon my using the term payback on something like this? Sorry, Jaideep, you're on mute.
So, Rachit, it's a very tough question. It's an extremely tough question because the people you face while you're justifying this are industry veterans, okay, and you are. I mean, they go through it with a fine tooth comb. Okay, how are you justifying it? But still, I think I have been able to do a fair job at doing it. And what's my pitch is same store sale growth. Okay, so if a store is already open for like 7-8 years and it has stagnated at a growth of, let us say, 5 to 7%, okay, and especially for value retail where you are not going ahead with price rises because you want to stay relevant to your customer, okay, how do you actually drive the same store sale growth? You are not changing the ASPs too much, okay. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go in deep into who are our customers. We need to understand what is their purchase cycle, what is their family size, how can we sell more and more to each customer, and hence drive the same store sale growth. Okay. So my pitch has been that this is a strategic function which will drive same store sale growth. And how do we do that? We climb ladders. Okay. There was some question about what metrics to track in the pre-read that came to us. Okay. So it's a journey. It's a journey. Right now, what we are driving is possibly annual sale per customer. Next year, we may be driving a lifetime value per customer. Okay, so we may also be driving how many referrals we are getting from a customer. Are we turning customers, loyal customers, into promoters? Okay, so the goal is to drive the same store sale growth, but the trickle down, the metrics which enable that are many, and those metrics are milestones. In 1 year, you achieve one metric, things on one metric, then you move on to another. I think I'm able to do a fair amount of justice to this question.
No, I'm a management consultant, and at the end of the day, it all boils down to the ROI and the IRR. And candidly, this is one of the toughest ones that I've also faced. Has been a hard one to answer. But I think, and the world does invent more and more ways to do it. I think you've spoken about the classical sales stores, same store sales growth route, and in very recent times, we have actually seen how the value of a unit consumer's transaction data and its monetizability from a larger market or from an ecosystem perspective has been the way many of the new gen digital first players justify both interventions or acquisition in the space internationally and now even in India. But let me pivot the conversation into a little bit of more a little more practical and in-store orientation. At the end of the day, one is fundamentally talking about the unit of engagement of the CRM is the POS, and generations and generations of POS have come in and gone, and at the end of the day, all I can tell you is that my interaction with most CIOs and with most head of marketing of retail companies, they always blame the POS, that it's the reason why the business case has not played out for them. Have we and I'd open this question to anybody who would like to contribute with an answer, is what have we seen and what is the experience of the group in terms of what next gen POS or facilities or integration has actually helped build a much better use case in loyalty? And does anybody have any experiences to share that upgrades on POS while the loyalty is still the same? Is there a improvement in Jaideep's terminology of like for like growth? Chandan, Ramanan, Sarfraz, anyone, any thoughts on that question?
I would like to hear Ramanan's thoughts at least, because I heard Intellect Commerce pitch before this thing, and I'm really curious to hear him out.
So thanks, Sarfraz. I mean, and I was actually about to tell to Rachit, saying that if somebody is complaining about POS, please refer them to us. So we will have some value for money of that as well. See, one of the things that I realize is that in our customer loyalty side, let me put some numbers on the table. We have end customer data through our customers of over 6 million customer data. Okay. And it's growing, right? 60 lakh customer data is available. That's a huge amount of data. Okay. Unlike the new age people that Rajat spoke about, who look at data as a new oil, and how do you monetize data? We are not looking at that, but we are looking at how do you expand within the equivalent of what you just said, as a same store, more revenue growth kind of value proposition to our customers. Ours is, 6DX is an inbuilt POS plus customer loyalty. A few of the things that enable, which would have added value even before and adds value now, is that when you actually run a lot of promotions, right? Your POS or your billing software should not slow down. The faster checkout still adds value, because even though you are on the back end applying a lot of promotions, could be at a bill value level, it could be at a product level, it should not consume too much of time. And you are a technology person, so I'm not getting into the details of how you do that. But that's adding value. So the customer is getting that experience. What actually we've been able to showcase for some of our customers is that, can I increase my revenue by 20%, 30% from the same stores? Okay. And using the combination of data that is available, their past purchase experience, product experience. So if it is a supermarket, I traditionally go to the same supermarket. I have my monthly purchase, my weekly purchase. I have a pattern that I've created. Are they able to run promotions to get me to increase my consumption? I mean, at the end of the day, while we are technologies and retailer companies, we are also consumers of a retailer, right? I mean, maybe different from our own store, we go to the nearby retailer. How do they treat me to make sure that my purchase, my share of the wallet increases? I think that's the way we have been able to achieve. I don't know if that's what you're looking at, Sarfraz or Rachit, but that's what we have been able to deliver.
Rachit, I will add to this basically. So we have our company-owned stores at the VIP, and then we have the franchises also. So point of sale implementation or the utilization of the point of sale, I think, was not a challenge at all for us. Okay, previously we were having some older version of the legacy system, but we are recently migrating to the new solution as such. And whatever the new solution we talk about is whatever the features and functionality and everything is already taken care with the loyalty as a, and the promo engine, what has been highlighted also, it's a separate engine and takes care, because yes, he's rightly pointed out, given the promo engine, once you did speeds and everything gets slowed down. But at the same time, the pause is again for me as a data capturing a tool or as a transaction system at the end of the day, where yes, you have the 360-degree view of the customer, where the last purchases, every history is available, and you can definitely make sense out of that with the good analytics tools and this one. But at the same time, at the back end, we have this integrated this POS with your recipe systems at the end of the day. So whatever the transactions which are happening at POS, it get reconciled at the back end, so that how much sales we are making, so that at the company level, because retail is one of the channel for us, other than the other channels with selling distribution channel we have. So the backend integration with your ERP system, that becomes the one important aspect for us. And second is the planning and the availability of the material at the store. So that also equally becomes very important, because at the end of the day, if the customer walking to your stores and if the assortments are low, or the whatever the displays are not available. In display, you have the limited space, and the availability is definitely, you cannot show all the customers. So that's where the omni channel and the endless aisle and all these concepts which are coming, which traditionally was not available in as a part of the old POS now, but it is now available in the new POS. And then additionally, one more thing, what we're doing in the digital presence also with the omni-channel presence, what are the e-commerce orders or the whatever the marketplace orders which are coming. So in the omni-channel, that is getting fulfilled from our stores also. So this kind of the integration with the e-commerce as well as with your POS system, so where the order is there, from where it will get fulfilled. So the complete supply chain part and the fulfillment part also has to be technology driven, so that at the end of the day, a consumer who is I will just give you an example. We have a shop where we are based off the Mumbai, and then somebody places an order from the Prabhadevi shop or near the Siddhivinayak temple, and then we have a shop store at Prabhadevi. So rather than fulfilling it from our warehouse at Bhivandi, it can get fulfilled from that particular Prabhadevi. So the freight cost and everything can be done, and from the delight perspective, yes, delivery is taken care of. So such kind of the complex integration, which is technically possible. So we need to have the ecosystem or the homogeneous system where the POS is talking to your marketplaces, where the orders are coming, POS is talking to your backend ERPs or SAPs basically, so that all integrated at the end of the day, customer serviceability. And at the end of the day, what we are talking about the customer experience. Okay, what customer's experience means to me is what are the what I feel about this particular product, and what more product I can buy, or what cross-selling and upselling opportunities can come. Definitely, and that's why your customer becomes loyal to you, and then the loyalty program can start. You can engage customer more frequently, giving the coupons, promo engines, and everything. So this is how the whole ecosystem as an organization we are driving. And I personally feel, yes, this is going to be the future for the next generation perspective, where all the integration should happen with a definitely a good analytics engine to run, so that at any point of time you have the better. And then at the same time, we are just working on the web crawling solutions also from the marketplaces, where we have listed some product on the marketplaces, and then getting the competitor products and the competitor pricing, so that we are better placed and something like that. So definitely where the analytics comes into the picture. So this is how the analytics, POS, backend integration will, where the technology or IT can play a big role. And I think without that, it's impossible to run any retail, any organization. That is on my mind. And this we are driving it, and we are technically making it happen. And from the approval perspective, from the making a business case to the management, at least personally, I don't see any. I have not faced any challenge in making the business case to the management, because this is how the future is, and this is how the technology is just like that. I personally feel, because I've spent around 20 plus years in selling the products, IT solution, because I've been spent a lot of time in consulting also. So I never face a challenge when the business is there and the ROI is then fair, and using a technology brings the value to the organization rather than having the technology as an idea. So I always emphasize on considering the maturity of the organization, and then where the business strategy of the organization, aligning the strategy with your IT strategy, and then run the program. So that is how it makes very easy for me as to sell internally also. Yeah, that's one.
I will be more than happy to take some tips. Can I just bring in, Siddhant, and I know he comes with a marketeer's background, because there is a question which we did get from the audience, and it was that, is there a, how does somebody ensure driving loyalty while competing on price? And at the end of the day, I think it's a very simply put, but a very, very difficult, situation, right? Because, can loyalty replace the desire for a low price? And, we did hear shades of this earlier, where there was the question around whether, people did speak around instant gratification versus build-up of loyalty. But is there a perspective that you have basis your consumer interactions?
How does one ensure loyalty when competing on price? I think so. Basically, we come from a background where price is the main. I think the consumers in our segment, they believe in price. They believe in value for money products. So I think the weightage of price is more than loyalty, at least in our segment. That's what I feel. But still, I think if you provide them some gratification, or if you give them some not points, if you give them, like, we do a lot of cashback kind of schemes, which helps us to gain repeat purchase. So I think that can be a good way of presenting, to your customers when you're competing on price. We try giving cashback, like a 5% cashback on your purchase, so that we get them again. And like from a season perspective, like if we are running this cashback scheme at the time of Diwali, so we will give this cashback can be redeemed post Diwali. So we do that, and those cashbacks are, I think there is no condition to those cashback. They are just like pure cashback. There is no purchase value that you have to redeem cashback.
Okay. Let me take another audience question very quickly, and I'm happy to see that the audience is actually engaging even at the last minutes of this day. But and let me push this one towards Chandan, because you will probably be seeing this quite often. But a loyal customer with limited ticket size versus a frequent one-off customer but with a large ticket size, whom should we target? And does this have any shade on at least how you would define design the CRM and the loyalty behind it?
So as the question, loyal customer limited ticket size versus frequent one versus the big ticket size, both of them are loyal customers to me. So both of them have to be managed by a different loyalty program. Say the person who is frequently coming has to be managed by a different loyalty program, and the person who is spending big to me has to be managed by a different loyalty program. You cannot categorize the customers into a single segment and say that this is the loyalty program for all the customers. So this is my take on that. And be it can be more than this kind of categories, wherein a customer has come in only once, and that is I want to bring in into my store again. How do I bring it? So that is where the loyalty comes in. I know I will try to interact with the customer. I will try to know his needs, and then I will try to push in my best offers and all the prices to bring in them.
No, I think well said, Chandan, because I don't think it is an or, I think it is an and. And the way to approach it is, one can, again, I'm not getting caught in the in terminologies, but this is exactly what the understanding of the unit consumer and what is going to be the right poke and provoke for a desired behavior. That is the way to look at it, and hence it is very much an and even a one-off consumer converting them into a loyal consumer with a higher ticket size is also very much possible. So it is I at least my view is that it should not be looked at with a trade-off lens, but it should be looked at with an appendant with an addendum lens. Okay, I know we are in the last 5 minutes, but could I just request for some just maybe some closing remarks that that would have that the one line of advice to retail CIOs basis your experience on looking at loyalty as a theme, and what would be that one thing in one statement that you would advise them? And why don't I start with Sarfraz?
Thanks, Rachit. So basically, if I have to look at it, I would say loyalty is a game changer for any retailer right now. And from that point of view, I would say you know categorization, as one of the panelists said, you need to categorize your customers. You cannot have everyone in the same basket. So categorization, your products, quality, service is a mandate, right, at this stage. So loyalty does drive to a very large scale, and it has to be given that weightage so that it gives back to you in the right manner that you've been looking out for. So that is something that I take it.
Okay, Jaideep, your one line advice.
So for me, I think a panel completely agrees on the loyalty should be there. How it should be there, I think I have 3 specific things, and I think those should be done in the same exact order. I try to do it, but that would be my advice. Number 1 is getting the metrics right. What are the metrics you want to drive? Number 2 is get the advanced analytics right, because that's what actually drives the loyalty program. Okay. And the third thing is getting the infrastructure or the technology right, be technologically ready to do that. Wherein the 2 bigger pieces are big data and then marketing automation. So metrics, then advanced analytics, big data, and marketing automation. These are the pieces which solve the puzzle for me.
Super. So look, I am unfortunately, I do need to close this very, very interesting session. Just wanted to add point number 4 to what Jaideep said, that while you get the technology solution and right, don't undermine the change management that is required, to make sure that whatever the investment is actually adopted in terms of an organization's embedded ways of working. And that change very often, in retail is not easy, just given the numbers that retailers deal with, as well as, potentially mindsets. So a combination of a technology solve and a human solve is always going to be the right way. So with that, let me just, thank you once again.